Hello. Personal branding has become a crucial subject of study for social media personalities and corporate leaders alike. And in this episode of Careerscast, we are going to propose that you, regardless of your current professional position, can benefit from and drive your personal development by becoming aware and learning how to manage your existing personal brand. So don't be intimidated and stick around for this exciting discussion. This is Careers Cast, a podcast for students and early career professionals who want to develop a successful and meaningful long term career in technology. I'm your host, Marcio Saito. Hi, welcome to this episode of Careers Cast. Before we even try to define personal brand, let me explain you what you need to do to figure what your current personal branding is because you already have one. Personal branding is all about reputation. It is about who you are. It is about who you want to be. It is about who you want, how you want people to perceive you, and it is about how people talk about you when you're not present, right? And the goal of personal branding is to align that, to make sure that it's not only aligned, but it helps you to be a more effective member of the group. Whether you are a leader, whether you are an influencer, whether you are a decision maker, what you want is your personal brand to enable you to be a better part of the group. Um, the challenge there is that a lot of us don't know who we are. A lot of us don't know who we want to be. A lot of us don't know how people perceive us, and very rarely we know how what people talk about us when we are not present, right? And and that's why corporate leaders, social media personalities, they pay a lot of attention and they spend a lot of time thinking about personal brand. And what I'm gonna tell you is that it is very important for you right today to develop this awareness of your personal brand and start the process of managing that, because that's, in my view, is one of the most important aspects for you to be successful and successful in any part of your life, right? Successful socially, successful professionally, successful as a leader, successful as an athlete. It doesn't matter, right? You need to be able to have that self-awareness and the ability to intentionally align the different those four components of a personal brand. And with that, let me read my formal definition of personal branding. Personal branding is an intentional process of cultivating a distinct public image that highlights valuable personal attributes and is aligned with your self image and your real capabilities. So it is a mouthful, but let's pick it apart, right? The first clause says personal brand is an intentional process. What do you mean by that, right? How people perceive us should be authentic, right? I am just who I am and people should be aware of that. Well, it's not that simple. When, as you develop as a person, right, you have a very broad set of personal attributes, and some attributes are more important, some attributes are less important depending on context, right? So let me use myself as an example. I am an engineer. Professionally, I have been, accomplished engineer, a manager, a director. I have led very large organizations, technical organizations, right? In my personal life, I I look Japanese. I was born in Brazil. I like to play chess. I like to do mountain climbing. That's a nice X there, which is related to my personal attributes, right? And as a YouTuber, right, I am not super comfortable with the camera. I have an accent and I talk about my experience. I want to enable the next generation of innovators, right? So those are all real, authentic attributes of this person. And the question is it all relevant? And the answer is no, right? If I'm joining a company in a leadership position, the fact my ethnicity, if I have an accent, should not be relevant. I play chess, right? I won't spend time and dilute my brand by highlighting those attributes. If I am meeting someone in a cocktail party, right, the fact that I had led organization with 200 people is irrelevant, right? If I focus on that in a social context, I'm going to be perceived as an arrogant, egocentric person, right? So there is a component of intentionality there. You want to highlight among all your personal attributes the attributes that are useful, that are important, they are relevant in each specific context. The second clause there is cultivating a distinct public image. Right? You want your brand to be strong. You want to be remembered. You want it to be noticed, right? You want to be respected. And for example, if you are always introduced as this is a very nice guy, right? Nice, being a nice guy is positive, is a positive attribute, but it doesn't say anything important, right? Being a nice guy is the same as saying it's just a bland, just a guy like you forget about him, right? So you want your brain to be strong and you want to be described like, you know, an inspirational leader capable of changing the world, right? Or a chess player who is super creative and whatever, right? But you want to think of yourself and you want people to think of you as someone special, and you want to be described in ways that are special as well. So when you project a personal brand, right, you want to create that brand that is special. You're not just a nice guy or a nice girl, right? You are special, you're memorable, you are important, right? You want your personal brand to have that component. And the last one in the definition is uh, personal attributes that is aligned with your self-image and real capabilities. So you need to be able to live your personal brand, right? If you watch other YouTube videos about personal branding, you might get the impression that it is about faking it, that it is about projecting something you're not, right? If you do that, you might be successful creating expectation, but if you cannot live your brand and deliver on those attributes, it's gonna collapse very quickly, right? So in building a personal brand, you need to be intentional, you need to be special, and you need to be able to live those attributes. So that's what personal brand is. And the question is, how do you do that, right? How do you build a personal brand? And let me give you an example, a real life example in the professional context, so that you can understand some of the things you can do to do that. So about 5 years ago, I was being hired by a large technology company. It was Google, and I was being hired as a senior director to lead the technology team responsible for consumer products within the organization. So it's a very high profile, high responsibility role. And the week before I joined the company, I was asking my hiring manager, what are the challenges, right, that I'm going to face in this role? And she was telling me, Marcio, the decision to hire you, right, was because we had two teams that have overlapping functions, and they didn't work well together. In some cases, they actually conflicted with each other. So we are consolidating those two teams under your leadership. And one of the challenges you're gonna have is you need to be trusted, right? You not take sides and be fair and objective in making the changes so that those teams actually become one. And she was saying historically there has been trust issues between the team and leadership. Uh, you need to come and very quickly establish trust, establish yourself as an honest, transparent, and trustable person so that you can win the credibility, right? Win the respect of the team. And a third aspect, she said, I tried to perform your role before, but I was not technical enough. And this is a technical team. You need to be able to come and establish your technical reputation as someone who actually can not only manage, but you understand what people are doing technically, right? So that was a challenge for me. And I spent about a week thinking and planning how I was gonna show up, right, in my first day in the job. And I did a lot of things, but when you and I'm gonna give you just one example, but when you arrive anywhere, right? People, we had this big conference call with 200 people in it, and then my hiring manager introduced, this is Marcio, he's the new director. Marcio, why don't you introduce yourself, right? And the way I introduced myself didn't start with, I was born in Brazil, I like to play chess. Not because I was hiding any of that. That's all part of me as a person. But I was very deliberate, right, in what I said about myself and the stories I shared in that 3 4 minutes I had to introduce myself, right? So I describe myself as a leader. I talk about my experience leading people in other organizations. I talked about some of the technical things I have done and accomplished in the past. And I tried, right, to, while doing that, not only saying I was transparent and honest and reliable, but actually trying to demonstrate that through the examples and stories I said, I told during that introduction. That's not enough, but it's an important first step, right? In order to establish a brand, you need to be able to articulate the brand and say it, right? You need to be able to express your brand verbally or in written, right? And I also did in written. I introduced myself in a paragraph, and that was sent by email to everyone. So that's the first step, right? I need to declare, to say what my brand is, but I need to prove it, right? If I had 6 months, I could wait until everyone had the opportunity to get to know me and realize I am reliable, I'm technical, I'm honest, and all those things, right? But I needed to go faster than that. I wanted, right, very quickly be able to earn the trust of the team to be able to make some of the difficult changes that I need to make. So, example of one action, right? I want to show that I care about every person in the team, right? That I was interested in every person in the team. In an organization like that, with a team of that size, I had directors reporting to me, senior managers reported to the directors, managers report to the senior managers, and the individual contributors, right? They had 3 4 layers of management in order to reach me. And it's very common, right, for someone joining an organization to worry more about the people above you, right, the VPs and senior VPs and the politics, and just meet the direct reports, right, and say, this is what I want done, go do it, right? Delegate all the actions and focus on the upper layers of management. And then I realized, right, if I'm going to be successful in this role, I need to earn my team first, right? I need to earn the respect of my team first. So I did something that is relatively unusual. I ignore upper management, right, during my first few weeks in the job. And I spend, during my first 2 3 weeks, I spend a lot of time talking to individual contributors in the team. Not the managers, not the senior managers, not the directors, but with the people doing the work. And when I did that, right, I practiced what I said. I was as honest and transparent as I could be. I was interested not in what I think. I was not telling them what I think. I was asking them what they think. What do you think I should do as a new director in the organization, right? What are you doing? And how do you participate in what the team is doing? And I was trying to demonstrate I can understand what they're doing technically as well, right? So I was proving to the team everything I said in my personal brand exercise, right? When I introduce myself. And the most important part of it is not even that, right? I did something that was very surprising and was very unusual. And my hope that actually happened was that that person I talked to, right, as soon as if we finished the call, he or she would turn around to their team, right, to their peers, and say, this new director who just joined this week, he actually cares about us. He's actually honest. He's actually reliable, and he was asking me what I think and what I do, right? and I'm so impressed with him, right? So by doing something that is unusual, right, something that is memorable, demonstrating your personal brand, hopefully, right, people are going to start talking about it, and you're going to accelerate the formation of your reputation as a leader in the organization. So this happened. I eventually was successful. We were able to unify the team and all that, right? And I attribute a lot of my success to those first 2 3 weeks in the organization where I focus on earning the credibility and projecting my personal brand. You might not be you might be thinking about personal brand in a different context, right? But I hope you can translate that to your situation, right? You're graduating from high school, going to college, you're going to meet a bunch of new people. What are your priorities? You want to be popular, you want to make life friends, right? You want to join a sports team. What is your goal, right? You wanna meet people who are highly competent in academics, right? You need to know what you want. You need to know of all your personal attributes, which ones are useful, and you can do the same thing, right? You can say, you know what, the fact that I want to focus on academics, I'm gonna pick my attributes that are useful in that context, right? Or no, I want to be popular, I want to join the sororities or the fraternities, and I am gonna show up as a very social person, right? It's your brand. You can pick the attributes and you can be intentional about that, right? And again, that will make you more successful in whatever you want to achieve, right? You're joining a new company, you can take my example, regardless of what level in management leadership, right? There is always opportunity for you to think, what do I want, what's going to be useful for me, right? And how I can be the most effective as part of the team, and pick your attributes, provide, declare what your brand is, provide the proof points, and then leave your brand, right? And if you understand that, I am happy. My goal is not to give you the tactics, right? You always say things like that, you use these colors and this font. You can figure that out. You're gonna find a lot of information about it in social media, right? But the key again for you to be successful in life, to be successful professionally, to be effective, right? Helping others to be better as a group, you're gonna need a strong personal brand, and that has to do with understanding who you are, understand who you want to be, understand how you want people to perceive you, understand what people tell about you when you're not present, and you want those things to be in full alignment, right? If the way people talk about you is who you think you are successful, and you're going to be much better positioned to be a leader, to be a partner, to be a productive part of a team or an organization. And if you understood that, I am happy. And now you can go search for personal branding videos on YouTube and learn the tactics of how you do that. If this was useful to you, please subscribe and share the content of this channel, and check the additional content as you have a lot of career building advice. My goal is to help you to develop a productive and successful career in technology. Until the next episode, have a good time and see you.